Be in the video. Love me, love me. So as of today, I am 25 weeks pregnant. 25 weeks down, 15 to go. That's it. My mind is blown. I am in the home stretch of the second trimester and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a lot of feelings. There's so much to look forward to. There's so many unknowns. There's so many questions. There's so many changes actually that have been happening in the past couple weeks. So I am going to be talking about weeks 23 and 24 of my pregnancy. So I haven't shared an update in a little bit because really the past couple months have kind of all been running together. There really hasn't been like that much changing week to week. So I thought I would space it out a little bit rather than just like the typical rant about how I'm feeling and da da da. Now I actually have some good stuff to share. So I am going to jump right on into it. So I normally start just talking about myself and just going on and on about how I'm feeling and what's changing and all that. But this time I'm going to talk about the baby because, you know, he's the more important one here. So we'll start off with him and then we'll talk all about me. So little babe he is an active boy, that is for sure. These past couple weeks I have felt the most movement that I've like ever felt him make. And it's so cool. He definitely prefers my left side, which is interesting. I still do feel movements over on the right, but I feel like he just likes to hang out and chill on the left side, which is interesting. I don't know if it's like comfier, if he just like fits in that corner a little bit better, but it's just funny, and I'm so curious to see if there's any patterns that continue when he's actually here, like if he prefers like sleeping on his left side or something like that. I don't know. I'm just really curious. I'm also really curious to know if he's going to be a wild child like his father. My father-in-law is like praying that he's going to be a crazy kid just for the sake of my husband so that he gets a taste of his own medicine. And honestly, I would not be surprised if this kid is just like up for anything, ready for adventure. I mean, he's always just like wiggling around, and when he gets going, like he doesn't stop. Like he'll go for a couple minutes and then he'll chill and just like maybe take a nap. I don't know. But when he starts like wiggling around and adjusting himself, like dang, he means business. Like he's on a mission to find a new spot or to explore whatever he's doing in there. I don't know. So I'm just really curious to see what his personality is like. And I feel like I've mentioned this before, but the more movement I feel, like the more I just like wonder about who he'll be as a person and what he'll like and all that. So that's just a really fun thing, and probably feeling movement and now being able to like watch it from the outside like crazy. That's probably the best part about being pregnant. It's just amazing. You know, sometimes I get wrapped up in my day if I'm busy at work or something like that, and for a split second I'll forget that I'm pregnant. But when this kid is moving around so much in there, like it's a reminder like your world's about to be rocked once this kid is here. So very cool. And I've been trying, because I've been able to see movement from the outside for a couple weeks now, I've been trying to capture it on video, and I actually got a decent couple clips this past week, so I am going to insert that here. Okay, so now I will start talking about me and how I'm feeling and what my symptoms are and all that good stuff. So I have quite the list of notes here on my phone, so I'm going to be just reading off some things here. Let's see. So I have been feeling a little bit more emotional lately, and I feel like this is a combination of weather, of the time change, of hormones still like raging through my body. But there's definitely been some cases where I just feel like my emotions are running very high. For example, so this is gonna sound stupid. So I was looking out the back door, like the back slider of our house, and I see like a deer out there, and I got so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen a deer out there forever. We have like a patch of trees, and there was just a deer walking, and he was looking like pretty thin, and I was looking for more because we usually see other deer out there like in a pack or whatever you call it. And I was starting to get so sad. I'm like, this deer is all alone. Like, did all of its like family die? Like, I was getting so emotional, and I didn't cry or anything, but I was like, if I keep thinking this path, like I'm gonna lose it. So later in the day, like my husband's like, oh yeah, the other day I saw like 9 of them out there, and I was like, oh, okay, well that's good. Like, here I am worrying that this was the lone survivor and just going like on in my head about this sob story about this deer. I don't know why. I guess I'm just like, just feeling all the feels lately. And even, now this was like more weeks ago now, but I was driving home from work, and the Tim McGraw song Humble and Kind came on the radio, and I love that song. I think it's so beautiful, and I just hope to be able to sing that to my little boy once he's here. But I digress. So I was getting a little emotional listening to the song. I started thinking like, oh my gosh, like 25 years from now, like I could be dancing with him at his wedding, like da 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 da. And I started to cry, but it wasn't just the normal like little tear like, oh wow, that's so sweet, like life's beautiful. I started to bawl, like the sob, like the that type thing. And there I am, just alone in my car. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Emotions are running high. So I guess I'm not surprised by that. I was a little bit surprised that in the first trimester I wasn't feeling super emotional, but I guess things are catching up with me now, and I'm starting to feel more feels. Another thing that has been kind of weird the past couple weeks, I had mentioned in my last update that my boobs were starting to leak a little bit, but that was brought to a different level this past couple weeks. So like, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I noticed that there was like some leakage like on my shirt, and at first I thought it was like a spill or something, but then I was like, no, that's not a spill, that's just some dried up some stuff on my shirt. So I was uncomfortable. And then the other day I was talking to my husband in the morning, getting all kind of worked up about work, and all of a sudden I'm like, why am I feeling wetness? I look down and I'm like leaking. Like, what is going on? I was like freaked out and kind of embarrassed, but at the same time I was like, this is just the start. Like, things are just about to get even crazier. So definitely a interesting body change that's happening, and I just guess I can anticipate more of that to come, so we will see. But probably one of the weirdest changes so far. Another body change, talk about my hair. So the hair in my head, I definitely feel like I'm not shedding as much hair from my head, so it's feeling pretty thick. I need a haircut desperately. It's just getting really blah right now, but I have no idea what I want to do. So anyways, my hair is growing a lot, but then when it comes to the hair on my legs, I almost feel like that's not growing as fast as it was beginning of the second trimester and first trimester. So I mean, maybe that's like a natural thing that happens, like as your body gets bigger and it's harder to reach down there. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind it because I'd rather not have to shave all the time. So that's interesting. And then let's see what else. Oh, I just lost my place. Okay, so let's talk about other body changes. So thankfully sciatica has not been bothering me. I almost don't want to say this out loud. It has not been bothering me like it was a few weeks ago. I'm so thankful about. I've had like some aches in my groin, not like like kind of like my inner thigh, but just on my left side. And I kind of think that's because of how I'm sleeping. Sleeping is getting a little bit more uncomfortable just because I'm getting bigger, and every time I have to flip side to side, it's such a chore. So that's getting to be a little bit more of a nuisance, but to be expected, I guess. Acid reflux and heartburn. So I totally screwed myself over. It hadn't been bothering me, and then last week I had like these sausage hot dog things for dinner, and then I had like ice cream, and I knew what I was doing when I was doing it, but I wasn't like thinking about how it would feel later that night. And so I felt fine like right after I ate it, but my gosh, I woke up in the middle of the night just regretting every single thing I put in my mouth like that day. It's not, I didn't get sick or anything, but it's just like you feel that kind of like pressure in the base of your throat, like, and kind of burning and just uncomfortable. And I feel like when I would switch sides, like what side I was laying on, it would just like adjust things, and things would just like flow weird. And I don't really know. So I was struggling a bit with that. So I basically ended up sleeping sitting up because that was a struggle. So, you know, next day I tried to be more mindful of what I was eating, but it took me a few days to get back on track to like actually feeling like my digestion was like going normally. So that's just another thing I just really have to keep in mind. I can't just treat my body like it was before. Like I feel the impacts of eating not so great things so much harder. Like even last night I like had a couple handfuls of the Starburst jelly beans, like total weakness. But I knew what I was doing, and I was like, oh, just one more handful. And sure, what do you know, like I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, yep, I can feel those jelly beans like weighing on my esophagus and like digestion, whatever. So just a struggle. I just need to be drinking a lot of water, eating a lot of fiber, and being mindful that it's okay to have some of the stuff, but I can't overdo it because I will regret it in the middle of the night. So that's that. So a couple more body changes to talk about before I move on. I am definitely feeling that standing is more uncomfortable. Like I get kind of like antsy to sit down if I've been standing for a while. Probably because I've been gaining more weight, to be expected. So last week when I turned 24 weeks, I weighed in at 151. And then this morning I actually weighed in again, and I weighed in at 153. Now my digestion hasn't been the best the past couple of days, so I feel like I'm definitely fluctuating like at least half of a pound, just depending on the day. Just because things are just different now. But I think my weight gain is manageable. Yeah, it's hard to see a number increasing on the scale so frequently. But that's just something, that's just a mental thing. For so long I was in this mindset of like a goal weight, and it's a totally different mindset to be watching your body gain weight and to be okay with that. So that's just something that I'm just trying to be a little bit more conscious about, and just give myself some grace in that arena, because for so many years I didn't give myself any grace and would be very hard on myself. So it's I guess it's only natural for me to be a little bit hard on myself when I watch myself gaining weight. But you know, I feel like I'm making healthy choices for the most part. I try to eat like as good as I can throughout the week, and then the weekends I kind of like go crazy a little bit. And I know I need to reel that back in a little bit and not just go ham like Thursday through Sunday, but like give myself like Saturday and Sunday. And you know, I'm just giving myself some grace. This is only a period of time. This is only a phase. So I fully intend on just making the most of it now, but then also just keeping in mind that things will change in a matter of months, weeks really. So just kind of living in the moment and cut myself some slack, I guess. But I don't want to go crazy, but I don't want to be so caught up in body image and things like that, because it's so easy, you know, now that like my clothes aren't fitting like they should. Like I still fit into a lot of my shirts, but they just don't fit right. So it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and see your body changing so much and just feel like it's almost out of your control. So it's just something to handle, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way that I do. And I've been trying to still be active, go to the gym at least 3 times a week. It's hard to get into a good routine, but I'm just trying to listen to my body, work out when I feel motivated to do that, feel like my body has enough energy to do that, but not overdo it and not put some added pressure on myself, because who needs that? There's enough going on in my life right now. I don't need the added pressure of feeling like I have to look a certain way when I'm pregnant. It's silly to say it out loud, but it's something that's on my mind constantly. So this is good therapy to be like talking this out. Anyways, I am going to keep going down my list here. Anything else about me to talk about? So I guess one last thing to talk about that's been going on with me. I've been having like way more vivid dreams. So I've definitely had vivid dreams here and there throughout the pregnancy, but I feel like they're picking up, and I feel like they're more like in line with like pregnancy themes. So I had one dream that I was like at this water park, and there was a lot of water and inner tubes and water slides and da da da. And I remember reading something about if you have dreams about water, that's kind of like you subconsciously being aware of like the amniotic fluid going like in your body. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because the dream was like everything was a water park, so that was interesting. But then one dream that was even more interesting was about like I don't really remember all of it, but the main part was like I was looking at my stomach, and the baby's foot was like pressing up against, and it was like sticking out so far, and I could see like the whole shape of his foot and like all the definition of it, and he kept on like sticking it out so far, and I would touch it and it was like the length of my finger. Like I don't know, just so strange but so vivid. So obviously pregnancy and baby are on my mind all the time, and it's following me into my dreams. So now I'm going to talk about things that aren't necessarily symptom and like pregnancy related, but more just like mommyhood related, or I guess prepping for a baby related. I don't know. So first up, let's chat about researching newborns. So it kind of occurred to me a few weeks ago that I have been spending so much time and energy focusing on researching pregnancy and like my symptoms week to week and all that stuff, but I haven't been doing as much research about life with a newborn as I probably should. So I've been switching gears a little bit and trying to do more research about what life will be like with a newborn in the first days and weeks of life, and just things to keep in mind. So I feel like I made the right choice there to kind of not be so focused on the here and now, but this is just a fleeting moment. Like reality is about to hit once baby's here, and that's when things are going to get confusing, because I'm pretty aware of my body and I'm really in tune with what's happening, but for another human, like that's a whole different story. So I definitely want to be more just proactive with thinking about what's next and all that. So I plan to get a couple books off Amazon and start reading. I don't want to overwhelm myself, but at the same time, I think now's a good time to be preparing, because we are in the last couple months of this. So before we know it, it'll be real life. Another thing, Babymoon. So my husband and I are really going back and forth here, because we would love to go on a Babymoon. We would love to go just on another adventure, just the two of us, but it's really hard when it's like the last bit of winter. We're in March now, and it's cold outside. We still have a lot of snow. We don't really want to fly anywhere, but anywhere we drive, it's not like it's going to be awesome weather where we can be outside exploring unless we get really lucky with like a freak weather weekend. So we're really going back and forth of whether or not we want to go anywhere. Because even if we went away for like a night to a bed and breakfast, it's like at this point I would almost rather just be home, not like away. Like I'd rather just be enjoying life at home and kind of just soaking in this time we have, just the two of us, even if we're just bored sitting on the couch. Like it's a tricky spot to be in where we want to make the most of this time and do the things that we know we won't be able to do so easily once the little guy's here. But I don't want to force myself to do anything that's like a waste. So still to be determined. I know the next few months are gonna fly. There's just so much going on, so maybe we'll squeeze something in, but I don't know. I'm lacking inspiration to plan anything because it's just a crazy, crazy time. So that is about all I have to share for this update. I covered quite a bit, which was good. I had a lot to share, so I might wait another couple weeks to do another update. Just gonna kind of see how things go and what's changing and all that. I have my next appointment on Friday of next week, so just about a week away. And I think my glucose test is coming up, so things will be happening for sure, especially as I slide into the 3rd trimester. But for now, I will show my growing bump and then close this out.